Hey there, everybody in the FFBE Global Facebook group, and hello to everybody who sees this video on YouTube as well. Welcome to a very late entry in the askanoldmog catalog, because I realized today that I forgot to do an episode last Friday. I think it had to do with me falling asleep during watching a movie, and I just forgot to do it. But I didn't want to not do it, so here we are. We're just a little late, and that just means I'm going to do a couple episodes in the next couple of days. But today we got this one, and it's got a question that I think with a bunch of new collabs that is bringing in a bunch of new players is a very important thing to address. And I'm going to pop up a question here that kind of talks about some things that I've been seeing a lot of questions about. So the question that I've been seeing a lot of and trying to answer, because it can be a little complicated, goes like this. How do I awaken a character to Neo Visions, and what about with the new update? You might remember that I did a video about this several months ago that showed the process of how to get a unit from a 5-star base all the way up to a Neo Visions unit, just going straight through, because they did an update to the process, but since then they've done a UI update that has gotten a little more complicated. So I thought I would go ahead and show the process to how to do that within the new UI, as well as kind of talk about the process in general, because I've seen that a lot of players just don't really understand how it works. So here's how this works. It's basically the same as it was before. So if you've watched that other video, it works basically the same, but there are now fewer clicks and technically less time than it was before. You're going to need a handful of things. You're going to need 5 to 14 copies of a 5-star base unit or another source of that unit's fragments. You're also going to need to grab, you could potentially grab those fragments from events, the EX coin shop, or spare copies of the unit, and we'll see how to do each one of those. You're also going to eventually need a red pearl or a transcension pearl. You get these from Neo Visions units when you break them down into fragments, or sometimes you get them as event rewards or coin shops, etc. So here in general is the process for how this works. I'm going to show you a little graphic. This is a great graphic. It shows you how the process works for Neo Visions Awakening. For a Neo Visions unit like Neo Visions Cloud, you need 50 of their fragments and 1 red pearl to get them from Neo Visions base to EX1. That's basically just 1 extra copy. So, you know, if you have 2 copies of a unit, you can make them EX1 right away. Very good. But that's for Neo Visions. So that's a little different from the Neo Visions Awakenings. Neo Visions Awakenings are 5-star base units that you can upgrade, just like you can with Neo Visions. You just need a couple different things. You need yellow pearls instead of red pearls, and you need fewer fragments to get to each successive step. So no longer do you have to have their STMR in order to do this. So this graphic's a little bit outdated. But the good news is you just need fragments and yellow pearls to get up to EX2. So that's nice. And the conversion rate you can see at the very bottom. If they're 5 or 6 stars, you get 25 fragments. If it's a 7-star unit, you get 50 fragments. And if it's a Neo Visions unit, you also get 50 fragments. So it's best if you're going to be converting them to somehow get them to 7 stars, so you can get 50 fragments per unit as opposed to 25 with a 5-star base or a 6-star base. And I'll show you how to do both of those. So both of those are very easy to do. Let's go ahead and hop into the units, and then we'll take a look at this together. So I'm going to just really quick grab a unit in the Enhance Awaken screen that I know I've got multiple copies of that I can do this with. So I'm going to sort this out by 5-star base units and whatever. Let's just find somebody I've got a bunch of copies of, and we'll sort them by trust name. Here we go. That'll be easy. Somebody we've got a lot of that can be a Neo Visions Awakened. Let's see here. I don't think she cannot be Neo Visions Awakened. We're looking at the other Shantoto. I'm sorry, I wasn't really prepared for for it fully. We're just looking for a unit that I can do this with. Any unit I can do this with. Doesn't really matter who. Okay, this is fine. We're gonna use Veritas of the Dark here. So I'm just gonna grab my first copy of him. He's level 0 or level 1. He's never been touched, never been awakened or anything like that. So the first thing we need to do to get him to Neo Visions from here is get him up to 7 stars. So we're going to go to Awakening, which is the middle button. We're going to click Awaken. And this is the requirements to get him to up to 6 stars. I have all the materials. You can get these from various places. We're just going to go ahead and awaken him. And notice it tells you what you're going to get every step of the way for awakening him. Now he's a 6-star unit. Okay. Now, the next step is to get him up to 7 stars. You've got 2 choices for how you can do this. One, you can use an Omni Prism. I have a ton of these from farming raids and doing events and just saving them over time. So I could use one of those, or I could click on Convert Unit and convert them into a Prism. Okay. If I really wanted to. To do that, I have to unlock them, and I can get a Prism from them. Now, I said before, this is kind of a waste if you don't have very many copies of a unit, because you want to make sure that you have enough to convert them to higher levels to get them to whatever. I'm not going to worry about that right now. If I was being super efficient, I would just use an Omni Prism to get them to 7-star instead. I'm going to do this Prism right here. So it's going to consume this Prism and awaken him to 7-star. There we go. So it's telling me what I'm getting. And we're doing all this on one screen, which is really, really cool. So now he's a 7-star unit, and it tells me that the next step to awakening him is I need a yellow pearl, I need fragments, which I happen to have a bunch of his anyway, and just some gil. So if I didn't have enough, it would give me the options to convert him into additional copies of him into fragments. I have 50 copies already of his fragments, and I only need 25, so I'm just going to click Awaken. And lo and behold, now my 5-star base unit is a yellow-orange background Neo Visions unit, and now he's a Neo Vision. So now, to get to EX1, I have to have 50 fragments, but I only have 25. Notice now the Convert button is here. And this time when I click on a unit to convert him, I have to unlock him still. This time I get 25 fragments. It goes from 25 to 50. And that's going to give me all the fragments I need to get to the next EX level. But notice, like I said before, on the screen, it shows that the conversion rate is 50 fragments for a 7-star. So if I needed more, I'd want to awaken another one to 7 stars with an Omni Prism and then convert them into 50 fragments, and so on and so forth until I got all the way to the EX level that I wanted. I'm going to stop right there, though, because that's really... as far as I really want to invest in this unit, I already have an EX3 copy of him. But the point is, you can go into a unit. I'll show you again. On the Awakenings tab, it gives us the option to awaken him from 5 stars to 6 stars to 7 stars, and then, to Neo Visions, as long as you have copies of their fragments. You can get them in a bunch of different places, either by converting them using those convert buttons, or if you go to the shop and go to the coin exchange shop, oftentimes, if you swipe over to the EX coins, which you get EX coins from events, you can buy unit fragments for Neo Visions Awakened units, including Veritas of the Dark. So I could buy more fragments from him here if I really wanted to. I don't, because I already have an EX3 Veritas of the Dark. We also can get yellow pearls here, red pearls, relics, pots. There's all kinds of stuff you can get from these EX coins. Some are better than others, so make sure you are doing that. So hopefully that is helpful, just to see the process of how to awaken a unit from 5-star base to Neo Visions. Not every unit can be. A lot of questions came up this week about Fae and trying to get Fae from 5-star base up to the Neo Visions Awakened form. This is the same process. You just use Fae instead of Veritas of the Dark. Use your Omni Prisms to awaken him to 7-star before you convert copies of him. That way you get more fragments per unit. And then that way you can get your Fae up to EX3 as quickly as possible with fewer copies, because you can't really get his fragments anywhere else except for the raid that he's in. And once you get all the fragments from the raid, you're done. So you just need more copies of him. That is really pretty much it for that process of going from 5-star base up to Neo Visions. And I do hope that's helpful. If you've got a question that you want to see in next week's video, be sure that you drop a comment or a question either on this video on YouTube or on the post on Facebook. That way I can try and address it. And hopefully I won't fall asleep during a movie tomorrow. We'll see. Because I do want to go ahead and put out a video tomorrow as well for the correct week's episode. Because I do have one in mind that I want to do. But until that time, we're gonna go. And I'm gonna go stream because it's time for my stream on Twitch. So I will see you guys over there. Have a good one. Take care. See you later. Be good to each other later.